Welcome, welcome. We're the Sports Junkies, another NBA edition. Today we're going to be speaking about and debating the top 5 point guards of all time. And I'm not going to lie, this wasn't easy. I'm very biased on my opinion because of who I've watched. And a lot of these players don't fall in the era that I've watched basketball. So, I'm Davey.
And I'm Jordan.
Let's kick this off.
That's where your bias comes in towards LeBron and Jordan.
I didn't watch Jordan.
Yeah.
I wasn't into basketball back then, and
I will tell you, I'm the kind of the same way. It was hard for me too because I'm like, yeah, some of these people I just didn't watch, but like when you're talking about all time, you're talking about people that have completed a career versus people that haven't yet. So it's
tough.
It is tough.
And this episode is sponsored by Nike.
Just do it.
Just do it. See, they just sent us these shoes.
Beautiful pair of Jordans, cool grays.
All right, let's jump into it though. I'm excited to hear your list. You want to start us off?
I can.
Okay, let's have you go down the list.
We'll probably be somewhat similar here, just because I don't know how you argue our positioning, where our ranks may come in a little bit different. But I'm being true to who I am, and I'm going to go with who I think is 1 through 5. I'll start at 5. This one may surprise people, but at 5, I'm going to put Jerry West.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to put Jerry West at 5. Once again, this is going to go down to, I didn't watch him play. I know he's the logo. I don't know how in the hell Jerry West is the logo when you have Michael Jordan. Like, you have this beautiful jump man and Jerry West is the logo. I think it's time to reconsider the NBA. But regardless, Jerry West is he has a title. I think that's big. I think something that was more crazy is that Jerry West, he went to six finals and lost all of them.
Well,
no, he won one.
He won one.
He lost 5. He went to 5 against the Celtics though, and lost all 5 of them to the Celtics. Like, how much can you possibly hate a franchise? It's got to be Bill Russell, right?
Yeah. Well, that guy just has nightmares of the Celtics.
Yeah.
Cold sweats waking up.
That's awful, dude. I would hate the Celtics. I got Jerry West at number 5.
Okay.
At number 4, and this guy's still riding his career. That probably gives you a good idea of who I have. Steph Curry.
Okay.
I did say early on that, you know, a lot of these people I talked about, they've closed their careers, and I think that's important, but you can't leave Steph Curry. When it comes to all-time point guards, he's played enough that I feel comfortable putting him in a top 5. I mean, we're talking about a 3-time champion, a unanimous MVP.
First ever, right?
First ever unanimous MVP. He's got 2, but I think only 1 was unanimous, which was never done before. So he's a monster. He's changed the game, which a lot of these people, you know, they go through and they change it. They don't play in the same era. But Steph Curry changed the game, I think, in a good way. It's just like football. It's offensive. We want to run up the score. We want to see a bunch of touchdowns. In the NBA, some of these olden times, and I think that's why it's harder for us to kind of judge this, is it's like the games was like 70.
Yeah.
Dude, I love seeing them at 120 to 125. Like, that's the game I love to see.
Those are wild.
Those are wild games, and I love that. So I got Curry at 4.
All right.
At number 3, I've got Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
Some consider him the best under 6 feet.
Okay.
And he's up there. And maybe what separates him from, because I'm thinking Iverson.
Yeah, that was tough.
And maybe what separates him is he put the cherry on top. You know, I like rings. I like winners. Isaiah Thomas won 2, and he won them against my favorite player of all times, Michael Jordan.
Yep.
That's to me, you just got to give it to somebody that can do that.
Yeah.
So I got Isaiah Thomas sitting in the number 3 spot. Number 2, this may be a surprise to some, it may not. The Big O, Oscar Robinson.
Mr. Triple Double.
Mr. Triple Double, and then Westbrook came and I guess did it better.
I don't know about that.
I mean, he did more.
He did more.
He did more. How could you ever? No one ever thought that would, like, a triple double would be averaged ever again.
Yeah.
And Russell just does it in his sleep. But it's like, dude, he's the most, like, crazy player of all times.
Yeah.
Like, he literally makes the triple double seem like nothing. Like, it doesn't even matter because you can't win with him. Anyway, this isn't about Russell. Big O. He's got a title, an MVP. He dominated back then, averaged about 25 points per game. I think he was ahead of his time. I think he was just no stopping him.
Yeah.
He was ahead of his time, but 25 points per game, close to 10 assists per game. Like you said, the dude was triple-double worthy,
Right.
and that's big. I got Big O at number 2. Number 1, you guys all guessed it. It's probably the number 1 on everybody's list. I'm hoping yours, but maybe not.
We'll see.
You throw some curveballs at me every now and then. Magic Johnson.
That's tough.
5 NBA titles. I mean, this guy didn't average a crazy amount of points, didn't even average over 20 points a game.
Right.
That's kind of crazy. But again, that's just, the game is different. And he looked to get his people involved with 11 assists per game career. That's pretty tremendous. Shot the free throw at about 85%. So, but when someone gets 5 titles, and all 5 of those titles are probably because of you,
Right.
you know, I have a hard time knocking him off of the number 1 spot. So
Yeah.
that's my number 1, Magic Johnson.
That's tough to dispute.
Let's see what you got different than me, because I don't know what you could possibly have much different.
My number 5 was Stockton for you?
I didn't have Stockton on my list.
Perfect. That's who my number 5 is. I'm a little biased here, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a Jazz fan.
Stockton.
I did watch Stockton, but this guy's got no rings. Okay? He doesn't. He lost.
I know he doesn't.
He lost 2 to the greatest. And if it's very arguable that if they played anybody else,
I could agree.
they would the Jazz would have 2 rings. So, but the reason he makes my top list is because of 2 records he holds, which people don't think these records are ever going to be broken. Assists and steals.
I don't think so.
I don't think they'll ever be broken.
I don't think so.
And that is just so impressive to me. And as a commander of your team, a guy that, you know, a lot of point guards are here. It's in their name, you know. You got shooting guard. I mean, that guy's supposed to shoot, right?
Yeah.
The point guard is supposed to facilitate, create plays, make assists. This guy only averaged 13.1 points, 2.7 rebounds. They had Malone, but 10.5 assists and 2.2 steals.
And you know that record's, the assists anyway, for sure is not going to be broken, because you got Chris Paul, who a lot of people like consider up there, and he's. I haven't looked at the numbers exactly. He's got to be a couple thousand behind.
3,715 more than the second highest.
Yeah, and he just doesn't have that much time left.
No, that's years. I think it'd take him 5 years.
Probably like playing at a high level.
Right, very high level.
Yeah.
So that's why Stockton makes it there. 11 all
It's
NBA
hard to
selections.
argue. You know me.
All right.
Rings.
11 all NBA selections, 10 All-Stars, 5 all defensive team selections. The guy was just a beast. And he's 581 more steals away from the next, which...
Was he 6 feet tall?
I think he was 6'1".
Yeah, so he's right
So
there.
he was right there. So that's my number 5. Number 4, Isaiah Thomas. He does make that list. He's 2 NBAs, 1 Finals MVP, which I think is impressive. He part of that Bad Boys team,
Yeah.
and he was the leader of that team, and beating Michael Jordan and all that stuff. I mean, it's pretty easy. He's got 3 All NBA first team selections, 12 All Stars. He was 9th in assists, 17th in steals. So had a great career. If Stockton had a couple rings, he might be up there higher than Isaiah.
I would agree.
But those rings, they do count for something. So that's my number 4. Number 3, I got Jerry West. 1 NBA title, 6 times going. That's just crazy. Once I read that stat, I was like, dude, I feel bad for you. You deserved a couple more, but the Celtics, they just took it to you. But one cool stat, he was selected to the All-Star team every year of his career. Only him and 4 other players
LeBron, one of those?
have ever gone all seasons. So I think that's an impressive stat.
That is impressive.
And that lands him on my number 3.
We both had him 3 then.
Number 2. Mr. Stephen Curry.
2.
I'm putting Curry as number 2. And the reason is because he did. He revolutionized the game. He changed the game. When you come into a sport and you completely change how the game is played, I mean, you're a catalyst to creating of the game, I mean, you are the one that made it so centers needed to start shooting threes more.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be able to shoot on a team right now, basically, to be able to win a championship. And so, and you said it too, unanimous. Over LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron has been his highness, your greatness. Yeah. And I love LeBron, and LeBron doesn't have a unanimous.
King James.
And everybody knows that he's going to win it when he won it,
Yeah.
But he still wasn't unanimous.
Yeah.
So
I could probably argue he should have some unanimous, at least a 1 unanimous. LeBron gets graded on a tough curve.
He does. He really
I'll
does.
give you that, and I'm a Jordan guy, but I'm a realist. He gets graded on a tough curve.
But to see what Curry does and how he can take over games is just he is one of the most fun players to watch. So, and the guy's averaging 20.8 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, 6.6 assists, 1.7 steals. He really does it all. So, and the guy's 3 NBA, 2 MVPs, 4 all NBA first selections, and 7 All-Stars. So, the guy is just an absolute beast. But we're going to agree again here. Mr. Magic Johnson is my number 1. And I think you kind of covered most of the stats. 5 NBA titles, 3 finals MVPs, 3 total MVPs as well. I think one of the craziest things about this guy is he won a finals MVP as a point guard, and then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1980 went out. So he had to step in and play center. So Magic Johnson has an MVP for the finals as a center.
I didn't know that.
Which is wild.
That is wild.
I mean, this guy, he could do it all. He was.
He was a taller,
very tall point guard.
Very tall point guard.
But to win an MVP as a starting center, when you know the other team has a very good center, that is just impressive. So 9 all NBA first selections, 12 All-Stars. He's 6 in assists, 22nd steals. The guy just did it all. 1.9 steals per game, 11.2 like you were saying. So
that's where I feel like he's just more comparable, like, to LeBron.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, I don't know, the Jordan and LeBron comparison. I guess you got to have something to talk about for the GOAT, but LeBron's more like Magic.
He is. He is a lot more comparable.
A lot more. Just that all around.
Yep. Dude, Magic bickered with Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, when they were playing for Team USA, like, those practices they had, you didn't want to piss Jordan off in those practices, and Magic did.
Yeah.
He pissed him off.
He didn't care.
He did not.
He thought he was just, Jordan was the young buck.
Yep.
He thought he was just as good and had this clout. I think that Jordan showed who was better later on, but...
They never met in the finals, huh?
I want to say they did, didn't they?
Was it the first year?
I feel like it was early on they did.
Okay. Because that would be fun. I would love to go rewatch those finals.
I feel like they did.
And see that. But yeah, I think very comparable top fives. I think it's fun to kind of switch it up and have a little biased in there. That's why Stockton's in there.
Stockton, yeah, that's it's hard for me to argue that. Like, he would probably be my number 6.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who else above him I could put.
Dude, Allen Iverson was tough to not put in
That
there.
guy's a G too. I'm a rings guy.
Right. It's
Like, that's where I'm always gonna fall back to. I think that's gonna make my decisions.
right.
Is like how many rings they. Like, I looked at Stockton long and hard. We're Utah boys.
Yep.
Like, I know he holds a couple records that will just not even be touched. Like,
Right.
not even close. But
Yeah.
when you can't put that cherry on top,
It says a lot. It really
I don't
does.
know.
But
Again, basketball's a team sport,
Yep.
so you can argue that with me. You could say I'm looking at one individual, and that makes more sense. But
then you got Steve Nash, which honorable
Yeah.
mention.
yeah,
Jason Kidd,
yeah,
honorable mention. I mean, those are tough to not. I mean, these are top 5 greatest.
Yeah.
And I left the Big O out of there. And
yeah.
I just want to explain the reason I did that is, I'm sorry, but Westbrook is tarnishing the legacy of a triple double in my
He
opinion
is.
right now.
Westbrook also doesn't have a ring.
Nope. So
The Big O does.
yeah, but he did have to get help to get it. He did have to go to a different team. He went to the Bucks
Yeah.
to go win it. So he did have to switch teams to go get that ring. So
So
here comes LeBron.
yeah. I was just thinking out loud. That's for another day. You knew it.
Round 2 will come through. Round 2 will come through.
You know me too well.
All right, well, I think that does it for our top 5.
Yeah, that was fun.
So
Pretty calibrated. Couple mix-ups in there, but that was fun.
it was.
If you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, obviously you know by now we love talking about this stuff. Go ahead, follow us, give us a like. We'll be doing this stuff every week, and as football ends, it's over now. So we'll be talking more basketball, which I think really our wheelhouse.
Yep.
So, like I said, give us a sub, follow us. Sports Junkies out.
Sports Junkies out.